Alright, so I had to cut it. My microphone cut out. Just bear with me for a second. Alright. 4. Acceptable admission scores must be in accordance with the standard for the individual examination as related to the student program. The minimum test score for the must be published with the current school catalog with the following instructional program standards applied with the occupational associate's degree. 1. Program specification. The credit afforded with the shall be associated with applied science to occupational associates of specialized business. Similar type of considered by commission to appropriate, not misleading. The duration of the program shall be a minimum of 1,200 clock hour for the instruction, 60 semester credit hours, 90 quarter credit hours pursuant to the subsection 6E 1.003, 15, 53, and 55 Florida Administration Code. The required general education component with it shall be at least 9 semester credit hours with the 14 quarter credit hours recognized for the clock hour equivalent of general education courses shall meet their definitions. Given in subsection 6E 1.0037 and or 38 Florida Administration Code, programs must have to define with the published objective of the occupational performance outcome which shall conform with the accepted standard for the Florida Department by the Florida Department of Education or other appropriately recognized for the governmental professional agencies and institutions used for the occupational outcomes different from those set by recognized agencies shall document the justification for the use of the outcomes or institution particular participation by the statewide course numbering system for the objective of the outcomes must conform with the requirements of the system. The basic skills. Basic skill institution offering program of the 450 more clock hour for the credit hour equivalent shall be diminished for the basic skill of the examination that each of the student within enrolls unless the student has provided evidence of high school graduation diploma equivalency. Diploma equivalent institution must comply with the student's high school graduation diploma. General equivalency diplomas offer high school transcript with equivalent cognition procedures. To qualify the exemption, the institution must utilize with the test approved by the U.S. Department of Education to determine if the student has eligibility benefit the program instruction obtained with the written approval of the Commission of the different basic for the skill test. If the test not approved with the U.S. Department of Education submitted with the Commission for the approval, the submission must include the documentation. The test normally normed, validated, and assessed for the student mastery based for the skill of the test must be administered by the independent tester. Students deemed to be lack of required with minimum level of the basic skills as measured for the under approved examination shall be admitted if admitted be approved with the instructional specifically designed to correct the deficiencies upon completion of the instruction. These students shall be retested using the alternative form of the same examination used for the initial testing and another approved examination works intended to bring the students' basic skills up to a post-secondary level of proficiency shall not be counted toward the completion of the course of the program. 4. Acceptable admission scores must be in accordance with the standard for the individual examination relief for the student program. The minimum of the test scores must be published in the current school catalog. The following instructional program standard would apply with the academic associate's degree with the program specification credential offered with the associated science degree, associate's art degree, and or associated degree name that is not considered by the commission to appropriate for the academic associate's degree. The derivation program shall be a minimum of 60 semester credit hours, 90 quarter credit hours, the recognized clock hour, equivalent required general education component for the associated science degree shall be a minimum of 15 semester credit hours, 22.5 quarter credit hours, or recognized clock hour equivalent of the general education component for the associate's art degree shall be a minimum of 36 semester credit hours, 54 quarter credit hours. The recognized clock hour equivalent general education requirement for the one of the other academic associate's degree shall be individually recognized with the commission to determine what they appropriate for the specific degree, and applied general education shall not be utilized to fulfill the requirement of general education course must be defined definitions given in the 6E 1.003.38 Florida Administration Codes. 2. Each program must have a clearly defined published objective of the performance outcome. 3. The basic skills institution offering the associated academic associate's degree so administrative basic skills examination to each of the students who enrolls unless the student is provided with the evidence for the high school graduation diploma, the general equivalency diploma, or an equivalent institution must maintain copies of the high school graduation diploma, the equivalent general equivalency diplomas issued with a high school transcript, the office of equivalent documentation or procedures to qualify exemption. Institutions must utilize the test approved for the U.S. Department of Education to determine the student of the disability to benefit from the program of the institution obtained with the written approval of the Commission of different basic skills tests, and if the test is not approved with the United States Department of Education is submitted with the Commission, the approval of the submission must include the documentation for the test normally normed, validated to assess the student mastery basic skills. The test must be examined, administered by the independent tester of the student deemed to be lack with the required nominal level of the basic skills measured for the approved examination shall admit if approved for the instructions specified designed to correct the deficiencies upon completion of the basic skills. Instruction these students shall be retested by using alternative of the same examination that used the initial testing of another part approved examination work intended to bring the student basic skills up to the post-secondary level of proficiency shall not be counted toward the completion of the course of the program. 4. Acceptance Mission scores must be in accordance with the standard for the individual examination as a result relates to the student program. The minimum test scores must be published in the current school catalog. The following instruction program standard to apply to the bachelor's degree. 1. The program specification credential offered with the bachelor's science degree, with the bachelor's arts degree, or the bachelor's degree with the title to consider with the commission is appropriate or not misleading. The duration of the program should be a minimum of 120 semester credit hours, 180 quarter credit hours, and the recognized for the clock hour equivalent of the required general education component of the bachelor's science degree, minimum of 30 semester credit hours, 45 credit hours, or a recognized clock hour equivalent. The general education component for the bachelor arts degree shall be the minimum of 45 semester credit hours, 67.5 quarter credit hours. The recognized clock hour equivalent. The general education requirement for the bachelor's degree shall appropriate the specific degree with the general education shall be utilized to fulfill the requirement. The general education course must be in the definition between the section 6E100338 with the Florida Administration codes unless otherwise required with the accreditation agency. Minimum of 15 of the general education credit hour with the recognized for the clock hour equivalents must be obtained with a bachelor level. 2. Each of the program is clearly defined the pursuit, published objective of the performance outcome. 3. The basic skills the institution offer the bachelor's degree should administer the basic skills examination each for the student who enrolls unless the student has provided evidence of high school graduation diploma, general equivalency diploma, or is equivalent with the institution must maintain the copy of the high school graduation diploma, the general equivalency diploma, the official with a high school transcript with equivalent documentation procedures to qualify the exemption. The institution must utilize the test approved by the U.S. Department of Education, determining if the student has the ability to benefit from the program of the instruction to obtain written approval of the commission for the different basic skill tests. If the test is not approved by the United States Department of Education and it is submitted for the commission of the approval, the submission must include the documentation with the test normally nationally nominated, normed, or validated with the assessment of the student mastery basic skills. The test must be administered by an independent tester with the student deemed with the lack of the required minimum level of the basic skills measured for the approval of the examination shall if it admitted be provided with instructions specifically designed to correct the deficiency used in completion of the instruction. Students for the to be tested with the using alternative of the same exemption the U for the initial testing and another approved examination work intended to bring the students to basic skill for the post-secondary level of the position. These shall not be continued counted toward the completion of the course of the program. 4. Acceptable admission scores must be in accordance with the standard of individual examination as it relates to the student program. The minimum test scores must be published in the current school catalog. Q. The following instructions program standards apply to the master's degree. The program specification credential offered for the master's arts degree, the master's science degree, and the master for the degree with the considered for the commission appropriate but not misleading duration of the program shall have the minimum of 24 semester credit hour, 36 quarter credit hours, recognized clock hour equivalently beyond the bachelor's degree. A bachelor's degree will normally be prerequisite without the interest of the master's degree program unless the master's degree is first professional degree with defined in subsection 6E100344 Florida Administration Code. The program has clearly defined with the published objective of the performance outcome of the following instructional program. The standards apply to the doctoral degrees. 1. Program specification. The credentials offered for the Doctor of Physical with the Philosophy, the Doctor of the Medicine, the Doctor of Osteopathy, doctoral degree considered by the commission appropriate and not misleading. The duration of the program shall be a minimum of 60 semester credit hours, 90 quarter credit hours, and recognized with the clock hour equivalent beyond with the bachelor's degree. The degree with the philosophy shall require the string of the research of the component disorientation for the completion, and then shall require the appropriate accreditation with reported for the accreditation within 3 years of the initiating the program to retain the license for the program. The master's degree will normally be prerequisite with a formal entry for the doctoral degree unless for the doctoral degree and the professional degree is defined in subsection 6E100334 Florida Administration Codes. The program must have clearly defined and published objective of the performance outcome of the standard 5 of the recruitment and admission for the admission for the recruitment related activities and institutions comply with the fair consumer practices provision in section 1005-04, 1005-34, and Florida State Statute Rule 61.0032 for the Florida Administration Code of the rules regarding agents of Rule 62-010 Florida Administration Code. The institution requirement shall be designed with the target of the students who qualified likely to complete with the benefit for the training provided for the institution recruiting practice for each of the institutions must effectively ethical procedure for the recruitment of the students and ethical practices and procedures including a minimum of the following. 1. An institution shall be the only individuals where the employed agent through training of the licensed agent of the pursuant to the Rule 6E2010 for the Florida Administration Code to ensure the student with the offer of the cabinet and to enroll students off campus outside of the United States and territories possession of the institution with a third-party agency for the recruiting. However, the institution may responsibly accurately advertise the representation protective of students regarding the institution programs and policy, financial eligibility, availability of the procedure pertinent information. Other institution officers who are not licensed agents to participate in the occupation of the college week, the career week, with the programs at the high school, with the community center, with the give of the speech, regard for the institution group, with the one invited, with not misleading the information submitted, shall be communicated with no students shall be enrolled. No tuition fees shall be collected. 2. The institution does not the institution shall not use employment agencies to recruit prospective employment to place advertisements in the help wanted section, classified advertisements with other lead prospective students to believe that they're responding to the job opportunity. Institution ensuring the recruiting agency with the other personnel do not make misleading statements about the institution and personnel programs and services, licensure status, and accreditation, and other pertinent information. An institution shall not permit the recruiting agency with the other personnel with recruited personnel, prospective students in the near welfare, official unemployment, the food stamps, center for the homeless, shelter for the nursing home, with the other circumstances citing whether they are persons cannot reasonably be expected to make an informed with concern enrollment decision. Institutions may, however, recruit and enroll prospective students at one-stop centers operated under the government auspices, provided that all of the recruitment and other missions required are met. 5. Institution shall inform each of the students accurately about the financial assistance and obligation for the repayment loans. 6. An institution shall not make the explicit implicit promises of employment salary expectations for the prospective students. 7. The institution shall not permit the payment of the cash and non-monetary incentive such as not limited to the travel gift, certificates of prospective students in introducing the enrollment visit of the institution. Institution shall not use the word free of it and simultaneously reference to the equipment, the tuition, books, and other items in conjunction with the recruiting of the advertisement. Any reduction tuition of the fees must comply with the subsection 6E1.00327. Full administration goes 8. The institution must provide an application with a copy of the controlled and completed enrollment agreement and signed by both parties. 9. Ethical practice should be followed with the aspect of the recruiting profit of the institution should ensure that all the personnel do not discredit the other institution, faulting including to the dishonorable contact, unable to perform the contracts. Questionable credit with a standing with a similar negative characteristic, making other false representations, disparaging the characteristic nature of the quality of the value or the scope of the program, instructional services, demeaning the students and the institution shall ensure the personnel do not know the following influences any students to leave in the other knowing the influence any student to leave another institution or encourage a student to change the plans after signing an enrollment with the application or paying a registration fee to another institution. C. The mission acceptancy policy. The purpose of the section to ensure the institution admits only the students who are capable of successfully completing the training offered. Mission decisions should be based on a fair and effective, consistently applied with certain applied criteria that enable the institution to make the informed judgment of the applicable ability to achieve the program's objective. 1. An institution shall determine with a reasonable certainty that the application for the enrollment is fully informed of the nature of the training provided by the institution shall advise each of the application prior to the admission to ensure the application understands what the program responsibility demands. And 2. The institution shall consistently fairly apply the admission standard for the published and should determine the applicants submitted to meet the standard that are capable of benefiting from the training offered. Application rejected but did not meet much of the such standards. The institution shall ensure the applicant admitted with the proper qualifications, ability, the skill necessary to complete the training. Subscribe and maintain the documentation demonstrate that each of the applicant meets the admission requirements. If the institution enrolls a person who does not have a high school diploma or recognizes the equivalency certificate with the demonstrated with the applicable applicant's ability to benefit from the training offered with the confirmed with the provided in paragraph 403 of this rule. Institutional does not deny the admission with the discriminate against the students who enroll with the institution based for the race, for the color, race, creed, color, sex, age, disability with the national origin. Institution must responsibly accommodate with the application student with a disability with the extent required of applicable law. 5. An institution shall not accept the enrollment for the personnel compulsory school age than one intending the school at a secondary level unless this institution has established a contact with the contact person responsible party for pursuing the training will not be detrimental to the student regular schoolwork. The institution shall document the reason for the denying the admission for any prospective student with the record of the denied application must keep it on the file for at least 1 year. 6. Standard 6 finances. All institutions must demonstrate that the financial structure of the institution sound with the resource of the sufficient proposed operation of the institution discharge with the obligation of the students to demonstrate that this school shall provide with the following. A. The initial provisional license extension from the initial provincial license or the provisional license due to change of the ownership. 1. A business plan setting forth the source for the kind of the amounts for the both current and anticipated financial resource for the plan with should include the budget institution operation clearly identify the source of the revenue, ensure the effective operation. The institution will submit the information relating to the business plan with the form Commission of Independent Education 605 business plan or Florida gateway reference ASPA number reference 026 49, effective July 2013, institution shall submit the information related to the budgets and forms to Commission Independent Education 606, projected annual budget, projected actual budget, Florida gateway reference number 02650, effective July 2013. The forms are incorporated with the reference obtained with the form without cost for the Commission website at the Florida Department of Org-CIE. By writing the Commission Independent Education Porch 325 with West Caney Street, Suite 1414, Tallahassee, Florida 32399940400, or pro forma balance sheet prepared for the type of the institution making the application. 3. The financial statement of the parent corporation, the control of the institution complied with the reviewed and audited within accordance with the generally accepted accounting with principles prepared with the independent is certified public accountant. The statement must be demonstrated with sufficient resource for the institute and institutional development. 4. Institutions new and do not have the historical education operations to provide the financial statements of the controlling principle comply with the reviewed and audited with the independent certified public accountant. Alright, B. Your annual license extension, annual license and annual review. License a non-agreed school with the provided for the annual review with the audit prepared with the accordance with the general and accepted with the accounting principle identified with the certified public accountant. Licensed college university shall provide annually an audit prepared in accordance with the generally accepted accounting principle by the independent certified public accountant. This must annually financial statement that demonstrate the current asset of the institution exceed with the current liability that there was a positive network capital and a profit that was surplus for the prior year. If the institution does not meet the above requirements, the Commission shall require an explanation for the financial condition of the institution, including the financial improvement plan or the teach-out plan or the form of surety guarantee that reaches any of the sufficient protect the currents of the student. The Commission determines the institution does not have sufficient refund resources. It shall take action, including the revocation of licensure. 2. If the independent post-secondary educational institute earns less than $100,000 gross tuition revenue per year, the institution financial official year, the institution shall provide a financial statement of the institution controlling principle of the financial statement shall comply with the reviewed and audited with the independent certified public accountant. The statements must demonstrate sufficient resources to ensure the appropriate institutional development. Non-Florida corporations have one or more of the Florida locations shall provide with the profit and loss statement of each of the location in order to assess financial stability of each of the individual location. License means and accreditation. All institutions shall submit with the annual audit prepared with accordance with the generally accepted accounting principle of the independent certified public accountant. This audit demonstrated the current assets of the institution exceeded with the current liability, and there was a positive network capital and a profit is surplus for the prior year. But the institution does not meet the above the requirements. The Commission shall require the explanation of the financial condition of the institution, including the financial improvement plan, the teach-out plan, with the form of the security, with the guarantee, with the resources that are insufficient to protect current students. The Commission determines the institution does not have the sufficient resources. It shall take up the actions, including revocation of the licensure. D. In addition, with the financial information required above, the institution shall submit the Commission Independent Education Form 604 with the entitled selected financial data. Florida.Ruleways or Gateway reference number the GL3092, effective October 2013. The form is incorporated with references and obtained without cost to the Commission website at Florida Department of Education org. Commission Independent Education or by written commission for the Independent Education 325 West Caney Street, Suite 1414, Tallahassee, Florida 323990400. Standard 7 faculty. A non-degree diploma program. Verification credentials. Institution shall maintain evidence of the credential of the quality of the faculty member to teach their assigned course of the faculty file shall include the resume the detailed application clearly reflecting the instructor's educational and work experience. In addition, with the official transcripts of all the degrees and health of all the faculty membership shall be on file and available to the Commission upon the request of each of the locations translated in the English. The institution shall also maintain the copy of the other documents reflecting the instructor's qualification to teach and such copy of the license and certification. 2. Faculty qualification. These standards shall apply with the full-time and part-time adjunction faculty. The institution graduated must pass the state, federal, or other licensing examination before being licensed, in particular with practice of their vocation, technology, trade, or the business. Must provide evidence of each of the structure of the teaching of the fields, hold the current valid Florida occupational license, and the occupation to be taught. The occupation to be taught. For all the non-degreed faculty, the burden of proof of the institution demonstrates the instructor competency for the subject of the top, but the instructor shall have completed post-secondary training in either the state licensed school with the college accredited by the accreditation agency recognized by the U.S. Department of Education plus 1 year of the job experience related to the subject taught, but they have completed with a minimum of 3 years successful job experience with a directly rated the subject taught. 3. Pursuant to Section 1539 of the Florida State Statute, faculty licensed institutions shall complete with the 8 continuing hour of the training related to their position. Each year of the records actual training shall be available for inspection at the institution. Compliance with the requirements are a condition of the renewal license. For the faculty staffing, the number of the faculty shall be sufficient to serve the proper number of the students enrolled. Alright. B. Occupational Associate's Degree. Verification credentials. The institution must maintain evidence for the credentials that qualify the faculty member to teach for their assigned course of the faculty file. That must maintain with this resume the detailed application for clearly reflecting the instructor's educational work experience. In addition, with the official transcript for all the degrees held by all faculty members shall be on file, but they shall be available to the commission upon the request for each of the location translated in English. Institution shall also maintain copy of the other documents which reflects the instructor's qualification to teach and such comply with the license and certifications. 2. Faculty qualification. These standards shall apply with a full-time, part-time, and adjunction faculty. All general education and academic courses shall be taught by the instructors who possess a minimum of bachelor's degree. The appropriate course for is assigned with the subject-accredited college and university. All other works shall be taught with the instruction possessed with a bachelor's degree. Appropriate coursework within the assigned subject-accredited college university who completed with the post-secondary training in either the accredited college or the state licensed school with the training with the subject to be taught, the plus of the 2 job years experience related to the subject to be taught, or have completed a minimum of 3 years of the successful job experience directly related to subjects being taught. For all the non-degree faculty, the burden of proof of the institution demonstrating instruction capacity of the subject taught. C. Institution whose graduates must pass a state, federal, or license examination before license to practice their vocation, trade, or the business must provide evidence for each of the instructor teaching the fields of the current valid of the Florida occupational license occupation being taught. 3. Pursuant to Section 1539 of the Florida State Statute, the faculty is licensed institution should complete with 8 continuing hours of the training related to their position each year. But the record of the actual training should be available in inspection institution compliance with the requirement of the condition of the renewal licensure. 4. Faculty staff. The number of the faculty sufficient to serve the properly the number of the students enrolled. And C. The academic associate's degree. The 1. The verification credential instruction must maintain evidence with the credential to qualify the faculty member to teach their assigned course of the L. Faculty must maintain a resume of the detailed application clearly reflecting the instructor's educational and work experience. In addition, official transcript for all of the degrees held by all the faculty members shall be on file, which will be available to the commission upon the request of each location translated in English. Institution shall also maintain copies of the other documents which reflect the instructor's qualification to teach. Such copies of the license and certifications. 2. The faculty qualification. These standards shall apply in a full-time, part-time, and adjunction family. All instruction shall be the bachelor's degree at a minimum. The instruction teacher, the general education, and other academic courses shall be assigned based on the major and minor academic preparation with the related experience. The institution shall justify the commission exemption for the bachelor's degree program. Bachelor's degree requirement of the instruction teaching the technical, the vocations, the school of subjects in the field of the bachelor's degree are not generally available. If the institution demonstrates the instructor had documented alternative expertise of the field and subjects that are to be taught, such as educational preparation at the bachelor's degree level, the professional certification, significant related work experience for all faculty holding the bachelor's degree, the burden of the proof of the installation of the institution to demonstrate the instructor competency for the subject to be taught. D. The institution graduate that must pass the state and federal or other license examination being the license to participate in the vocation training of the business that must provide evidence for each of the instructor teaching for the fields to hold the current and valid Florida occupational license occupation to be taught. 3. Pursuant to Section 1539 Florida State Statute, faculty licensed in institutions shall complete with the 8 continuing hours of training related to these positions. Recorded with the actual training shall be available to the inspection. If the institution compliance with the requirements of condition renewal of the license, faculty staff and the number of the faculty shall be sufficient to serve the properly the number of the students enrolled. D. A bachelor's degree. Verification of the credentials of the institution show the file with the provisions of the subparagraph 7C1 with this rule with the 2. The faculty qualification. These standards shall apply with a full-time, part-time, and adjunction faculty. All instructors shall have the master's degree minimum except for the provided in subparagraph C with the below. Instructors teaching general education and other academic courses shall be assigned based on the major and manner of academic preparation related experience. Institution justifying commission exemption for the master's degree requirement. The requirement that instruction teaching the technical and specialized subject for the field of the master's degree is generally available. The institution demonstrate that those instructors documented alternate with experience with expertise within the field of the subject area that be taught the such educational preparation or other master's degree level of professional certification, significant related work experience for all faculty of the not holding with a master's degree. The burden of the proof of the institution demonstrates the instruction competency for the subject to be taught. At least one half of the lower division courses and the upper division courses, including any of the courses common to non-academic degree, non-degree programs, shall be taught by the faculty members holding graduate degrees, professional degrees such as Juris Doctor or Doctor of Medicine, the bachelor's degree plus the professional certification. 3. Pursuant Section 1539 of the Florida State Statute, faculty is licensed institute shall complete with 8-hour continuing hours of training related to their position each year. Records of actual training should be available. The inspection of the institution compliance with the requirements of condition renewal with the licensure of faculty staff. The number of the faculty sufficient to serve the property. Number of students enrolled. Master's degree. The verification. The credentials of the institution shall comply with the provisions. Paragraph 7C1 of this rule. The faculty qualification standard shall apply with the full-time, part-time, adjunction faculty. All instruction shall hold the graduate degree at a minimum. All instructors shall assign based on the major and minor area of the academic preparation related experience. C. Institution shall justify the commission for the exemption of the graduate degree requirement. The instructor for the institution demonstrate for the instructor for the documented exceptional practical professional experience for the assigned field. If the assigned for the one of the graduate degrees were widely available for all the faculty who are holding graduate degrees. The burden of the proof the installation to demonstrate the instruction competency for the subject talk at least one half of all the graduate level of the course for the top of the faculty processing. Possessing a terminal degree of the AJD or Juris Doctoral degree, it shall be considered the terminal degree of law for all the law-related courses. Professional certification is not acceptable. Substitute terminal degree requirement. 3. Pursuant to Section 1005-39 of the Florida State Statute, faculty licensed inspection institution shall complete 8 hours continuing course training related with the position each year if required. Actual training should be available. The inspection for the inspection compliance with the requirement for the condition renewal license. Faculty staff, the number of the faculty sufficient to serve the number of the students enrolled. After the doctoral degrees verification credentials, the institution comply with the provisions paragraph 7C1 of this rule. 2. Faculty qualification. These standards shall apply with the full-time, part-time, adjunction faculty. All instructors shall hold the terminal degrees at minimum of the JD degree, which will consider the terminal degree of the law related to the course of the professional certification. Is not substitute with the terminal degree. All instructors shall be assigned based on the major and minor area of the academic preparation related experience. C. The institution shall justify the commission for the occupational exemptions to the terminal degree of the instructor if the institution demonstrates the instructor documentation exceptional practical professional experience assigned field that the assigned field of one of the terminal degrees is not widely available. 3. The persons suing Section 1539 Florida State Statute, faculty is licensed and institution shall complete 8 hours continuing hours of training related to their position each year. Of the record actual training shall be available for inspection of the institution. Compliance while the requirements and condition with the renewal of the licensure. Faculty staff, the number of the faculty should be sufficient. The proper number of the students enrolled. Standard 8. Library learning and library learning resources and information services non-degree diplomas. 1. General standard learning resources and information services appropriate to the level of the scope of the program offering they provided for the learning resources minimum the institution shall develop an appropriate base for learning resources and information services and ensure access to services for all students. Develop a continuous assessment improvement in the strategy of learning resources and information services. D. Provide adequate staff to support with the learning resources and information services and functions. And E. Ensure the students and instructors utilize the learning resources and information services as an integral part of the learning process. 2. Required learning resources. Learning resources include online resources such as including current titles, periodicals, professional journals appropriate with the educational program. A minimum of non-collegiated institutions shall be available with the easily accessible standard reference form with a current unabridged dictionary, thesaurus, recent additions to the handbooks appropriate to the curriculum. 3. Inventory. Current inventory of learning resources shall be maintained. B. The occupational associated degree with the general standard learning resource with the information services with the appropriate level, the scope of the program, offering the provided learning resources at a minimum of the institution must comply with the provisions of the subparagraph 8A1 of this rule. 2. The required learning resource for the institution provided the learning resources who provides a staff member who demonstrates competence to provide oversight. The learning resources shall include the holding of the appropriate educational programs, including current titles, relevant current periodicals, relevant reference material, professional journals, electronic resources, and sufficient titles, number of the adequate services and students, and minimum of the institution shall be available, easily accessible standard reference works such as the current unabridged dictionary, thesaurus, and recent editions, handbooks appropriate to the curriculum. And 3. The inventory. The current inventory of learning resources shall be maintained. Academic associate degree, general studying. Learning resources and information shall be appropriate to the level scope of this program. The offerings to provide learning resources minimum. The institution must comply with the provision in paragraph 8.1a1 of this rule. The staff of the institution shall provide access to learning resources, professional training with the librarian. So supervise and manage the learning resources and information for the services to facilitate integration with all the phase of the institution curriculum with the educational offerings, assistance in their work and their use. Professional trained librarian is one who holds a bachelor, master's degree in librarian of information service, science and studies, or a comparable program accredited with the American Library Association, state with certification with equivalent qualification as work at the librarian where applicable. During scheduled libraries, there should be trained with individual duty to supervise learning resources in the library with the assist of the student with the library function. This person shall be competent in both the use of the use of the technology resource available with the library budget, and annual library budget should be developed by the institution. Allocation expended appropriate to the size and scope of the institution program offerings. Holdings. Alright, holdings. A collegiated library shall provide with the access to holding appropriate to the size of the institution, benefit of the education program, including the current title of relevant current periodicals, relevant reference materials, professional journal for the electronic resources, sufficient title of the number that adequately serve the student. The on-site resources should be classified using the recognized classification system, such as the Dewey Decimal System of the Library Commerce System. The record of the circulation inventory shall be current. Accurate must be maintained in the assist evaluating adequacy and utilization of holdings. 5. Use of accessibility. Learning resources and information services must be available at the time consistent with the typical student schedule within case the electronic resource with a sufficient number of the terminals should be provided with the student use. If internal library agreements are utilized, provisions for such must be practical, accessible to you for the documentation. Inventory. Current inventory of learning resources may be maintained. B. The bachelor's degree. General standard learning resources and information should also be appropriate to level the scope of the program. In providing the learning resources minimum of the institution must comply with the provision in paragraph 8.1a of the rule. 2. The staff of the institution shall provide with the access to learning resource for the full-time professional trained librarian shall supervise the managed learning resource and information services with faculty integration with all the phase of the institution's curriculum with the educational offerings, assistants, students, and their youth. Professional trained librarian and one of the holds a master's degree in the library of information science and study that is capable comparable to the program accredited with the American Library Association, state certification, and other equivalent qualifications to work at the library during the scheduled library hours. There shall be trained individuals duly to supervise the library resource of the current center library to assist the students with the library function. The person shall be competent with both the aid with the technology resource available with the library budget and the annual library budget, and there should be developed an institution allocation expected by the appropriate inside of the scope of the institution. And this program offers the holdings. The collegiated library shall provide with the holdings appropriate to the size of the institution benefit of its electronic educational programs, including current titles, relevant, periodics, relevant reference material, professional journals, electronic resources, sufficient titles, number the adequate services for the students. On-site resources should be considered for the using of the recognized classifications such as the system of the Dewey Decimal System, or the Library of Congress. Record of circulation inventory shall be current with accurate and must be attained with the assist evaluating adequacy, utilizing of the holdings. 5. The use of accessibility institutions comply with the provisions in paragraph 8c5 of this rule. 6. Current inventory learning rule shall be maintained. E. The master's degree in doctoral program, general standard learning resources and information shall provide appropriate level and scope of the program with offering the providing leveling resources. The minimum of the institutional must comply with the provisions of paragraph 8a1 of the staff of this rule. Staff institution will provide access for the learning and resource of full-time professional time. Librarian shall supervise the managed learning resources and the information facilities, facilitate the integration into all phases of the institution's curricular educational offerings that assist for the students and their youth. The professional trained librarian is one of the holds the master degree in the library information services and study with the comparable to program accredited with the American Library Association, state certification of the equivalent qualification to work as a library as applicable to the library and specific qualifications to aid the resources shall be available during scheduled library hours. There shall be trained individual on duty to supervise the learning resource center of the library and to assist the students of the library function. To the person shall competent both use and aid in use of the technology resource of the available to the library. 3. The budget. Annual library budget shall be developed in the institution with allocation expended with the appropriate size of the scope of the institution program offerings. 4. Holdings. Institution offering master's and doctoral degrees should provide with the access to substantial different library with the resource, the term, the depth, and the breadth of those required bachelor degree programs. The resource should include the Bigley African monographical reference of the major professional journal with the reference services with the research methodology materials. As an appropriate information technology, the depth of the breadth and accessible libraries shall be received for the requirements of the average student in order to encourage the intellectual development of superior students and to enrich Professional development of the faculty on site with a reference to resources classified you with the classification system such as the Dewey Decimal System, Library Congress System. Records of circulation inventory shall be correct, current with accurate and must be maintained with the assist of the evaluating accuracy and utilization of the holdings. PART5. Use accessibility learning resources information services must apply with the time consistent with the typical student schedule with the electronic resource with the sufficient number of the terminals provided by the student if in inter-library agreements to utilize the provision for which use must be practically accessible for the documentation inventory access to the current inventory learning resources that shall be maintained. Standard 9. Physical facility. All institution physical facilities, regardless of the level of credential offered, will comply with the following standards. Each institution shall provide with the environment conducive for the good instruction for the learning and the support for the educational programs offered in the institution adequate with the environment assessed for the demands made upon them by the curricular faculty and student. Each institution shall provide with a maintained physical plan with the academic classroom, laboratories, administrative office, and service adequate educational programs, anticipated number of the faculty and students. Documentation of the should include a site plan and noted floor plan, narrative description of the describe the complete with the instruction. Institution physical plan. Each institution, including the physical facility, shall meet with the general test for the safety, with the usefulness, cleanliness, maintenance, highlight, heating, health, lighting, ventilation, other requirements are conducted with the high safety comfort. Each of the institutions shall provide with the evidence of the compliance with the zoning, fire safety, sanitation standards issued and applicable regulatory authorities for the authorities for all the instruction of the student housing facilities. Each of the institutions shall maintain the necessary supplies equipment for the students enrolled in the programs. D. The standard time for the student services of all institutions regarding the level of the credentials offered to comply with the following standards. Each institution shall designate a properly trained individual to provide each of the following student services with the academic advisement, financial investment, personal investment, placement of services, the extent of the services of the personal assigned, but it shall be determined with the type of the complete institute type of the program offering. The place of the service, the place of the service should provide with all the graduates without the additional charge. No guarantee for the placement shall be directly and indirectly apply with the record. The initial employment with all the graduates shall be maintained. Exemptions. The requirement shall be made with the graduates who attend with the institution student via for the temporary immigration status who do not seek the employment of the country. Alright, C. Placement improvement plans. No accredited institution holding provisional annual license shall be reported with the placement of the rate defined with the commission with each of the license review. If the placement rate falls below 60%, the commission shall pay for the institution placement improvement plan. The plan shall include the actions taken to improve the plan placement rate, with it shall be submitted with the commission with a progress report, with it shall be filled with the commission after the period designated with the commission, and shall be information for the placement, personal placement, assessment, activities, job development, activities, and additional data with the request for the commission to show effectiveness of the plan with improving the placement of the rate of the program. Report does not show the improvement accepted for the commission take the action up to and including the revocation of the license. Institution accredited by the agency of the recognized by the U.S. Department of Education shall report the placement rate as required for the respective accreditation agency with the annual review. The placement does not meet the accreditation agency requirement. The commission shall place the institution placement improvement plan. The plan shall be developed by the institution, including the actions to be taken to improve the placement rate, shall be submitted with the commission in progress. The report shall be filled with the commission after the period designated with the commission, with the show include the information, documentation, activity taken, institution to improve the placement rate of the program, or does not show the improvement if accepted by the commission. The commission shall take actions up to and including the revocation of the license. 6. Retention improvement plans. A non-credited institution holding a professional annual licensure shall report the retention rate of the defined with the commission with each of the license review. It shall, if the rate shows falls below 50%, the commission shall pay for the institution on a retention improvement plan. The plan shall include the actions to be taken to improve the one of the retention rate, but this shall be submitted to the commission. The program rate shall be filed with the commission after the period of the designated by the commission shall be include the information, documentation, activities for the institution improving the retention rate with the program's report is not accepted the commission shall take action up to the including revocation of license. Any institution accredited by the agency recognized by the U.S. Department of Education shall report the retention rate as required for the respective accreditation agency with each of the annual review. If the retention rate does not meet the accreditation agency requirement, the commission with it shall make the institution retention improvement plan. The plan shall be developed by the institution, include the actions to be taken. Improvement of the retention plan shall be submitted with the commission. The progress report shall be filled with the commission after the period designated with the commission shall include the information, documentation of the activities of the instruction to improve the retention rate. If the progress report does not show the improvement accepted by the commission shall be taken the actions including revocation of the license. Institution shall submit the placement of retention information of the commission independent education form 801 annual student data collection with a non-institutional accreditation institution effective January 11, 2012. CIE form 802 annual student data collection institutional accredited institution effective January 11, 2012. 2012, CIE Form 803, placement of the retention reporting with an institution, accredited institution, institutional reporting effective January 1st, 11th, 2012, CIE Form 804, placement of retention reporting plan, institutional accredited institution, problematic reporting, effective October 3rd, October 2003, and applicable. These forms are incorporated the reference to be must be obtained with the Commission website with the Florida Department of Education or the Commission Independent Education or writing with the Commission Independent Education, 325 West Caney Street, Suite 1414, Tallahassee, 323990411. Standard of 11. Publication and advertising. General standard. Each of the institution comply with the provision regardless of the level of the credentials offered. The publication presented with the professional manner information published unless accurate the factual reflect for the current of the status of the institution. Catalog. Pursuant to Section 1005-041A, Florida State Statute, certain disclosures required to be made with the written with prospective students of 1 week prior to the enrollment. Or collection of tuition. If the institution uses a catalog as sole source for those required for the disclosure, the institution shall ensure that the prospective students is provided with a written copy that has access for the electronic catalog of the 1 week of the prior to the enrollment collection of the tuition. 2. Each institution shall purposely provide with each of the enrolled catalog with the written in the electronic form. Written catalog shall professionally printed and bound electronic catalogs for you with the 2 versions shall contain the same information except for the update but provide more quickly an electronic version to the catalog shall constitute the contractual obligation of the school to the student shall be an official statement of the school policy, program, services, charges, and fees. The catalog shall include the minimum of the following information: name, address, telephone number of the institution, and identifying the data of the volume and the effective dates for the catalog. Table of contents for the index page for the catalog shall be numbered, including the table of contents index. The statement of legal control include the name of the trustee, director, of the officer of the corporation. If the institution accredited with the defined in Section 1005-021 Florida State Statute statement of accreditation, if the institution claims accreditation by the accreditation agency did not recognize the U.S. Department of Education, disclosure requirement of paragraph 6E1.00326D for the Florida administration to be inserted within the catalog. All publications of advertising is denied. Find subsequent to 6E10036 for the Florida administration codes, whereas the unrecognized accreditation agency associations agencies mentions. As the following states, enlightened by Commission for the Independent Education, Florida Department of Education, additional information regarding the institution must be obtained by the contacting the Commission, 325 West Caney Street, Suite 1414, Tallahassee, Florida, 323-009-0400, toll-free number to 888-224-6684. Names and title of full-time, part-time administrative listing of the faculty indicating the degrees held with the institution agency awarded with the credentials. A statement of the purpose of the institution, accredited academic calendar showing beginning with the ending with the date for the enrollment period, program term for the quarter, for the semester, the holidays, registration dates, or significant dates and deadlines, the institution admission requirements, policies, and procedures, including the basis for the administration and testing requirements that are applicable to each of the program admission requirements that don't comply with the paragraph of the provisions of paragraph 6E. 100326G, Florida Administration Code. The specific procedure for the granting of the credit learning over the examination of offer, including the maximum amount of the credit which can be obtained with the manner pursuant to 6E20041 Florida Administration Codes. M. Statement regarding the transfer of the credit both from the institution complying with the provision of the paragraph 6E1003226F Florida Administration Codes. And a description of the curriculum with all the programs offered, including the statement of the objective purposes of the program, the accurately completing listing for the course, including each for the program, each for the unique identified number of the title, identification course for the general education course, if the applicable credit or clock hours awarded for each for the course, for the total for the credit clock hours, the grade for the required for the satisfactory completion of the program, requirements of the certification and license registration program, career field, for the applicable, the additional special requirements for the completion. Or description of each for the classified offered, including the identifying number of the title and credit for the clock hours awarded. The description of the contents course, for including the language instruction of the other English prerequisite. P. The description of the course number of the in accordance with the compliance with the section 1007-24/7 of the applicable state board of the education rules. Q. The explanation of the grading marking system, which consistent with the hearing of the transcript. The definition of unit of the credit hour of the tuition institution shall clearly specify with the court and customer credit hour the defined in Rule 6E1003 Florida Administration Code. G. The complete explanation of the standard for the satisfactory academic practice. Whereas the policy shall include the minimum grades standards considered the satisfactory condition, the interpretation, interruption due to the unsatisfactory grades and progresses for description in the probationary period. F. Applicable the condition re-entry for the student suspending with the unsatisfactory progress. T. The description of all the diploma degrees awarded together with the statement and requirements of the be met with the satisfactory completion of each. Alright, U. The detailed description in charge of the tuition, books, and supplies and tools, equipment, and student activity services in charge of rentals, deposits, and any other applicable charges on non-refundable charges should be clearly indicated. as such. A detailed description of all the financial offers of the institution shall include, but not limited to, scholarships and how the loans grant program, third-party loans grant programs, federal, state, and financial aid. Any student eligible to standard condition for the conditions should be stated with each of the type of the financial aid offered. Tuition and fees discontinue with the not permissible. The reduction in tuition fees must comply with the subsection 6E100327. Full administration codes. Obligation repeat of the loan shall be clearly disclosed with the explained to students along with the anticipated repayment plans, dated amendments. W. Statement refund policy proceed with the refund unused for the portions of the fees and other charges in the event of the student does not enter the program, withdraws from the program, or discharges from the program. The refund policy shall be compliant with paragraph 6E10036I, Florida Administration Codes, other applicable federal state requirements. X. The complete description of the initial complete description of institution, physical facilities, equipment, the description of the nature, extent of the student services offered. The institution policy student conduct with the condition of the dismissal of the unsatisfactory conduct. A. Institution procedure for the student with appeal of the academic disciplinary actions. B. If required for the law of the institution anti-hazing policy. C. The procedure for the compliance with the conservative addressing the institution. D. If the institution offers thorough distance education with other alternative means, the catalog should include the information specified in subsection 6E2004110 Florida Administration Codes. E. The institution offers the course of taught if any language other than English. The catalog must contain the following disclosure. Completing the course of the program of the language other than English may reduce the employability where the English is required. 3. Catalogs for the multiple institutions. All institutions utilizing the common catalog must have common ownership of the photograph of the physical facility of the institution must be captioned, identify particular institution campus depicted by the faculty and staff of each of the institution. The member of the administrative of the program and institution shall be clearly identified with respect to each of the institution's overall administration. Each of the information contained with the catalog is not common to all the institutions, and the group shall be clearly disclosed. Advertising. An institution will not advertise until the license has been issued. For initial application and renewal licensure of the insurance institution shall submit a copy of the proposed actual advertising publication. All advertising in an institution shall factually and not misleading to the public. All institution published materials must be specifically accurately represent the illustration, institution, or any other illustrations used must clearly accurately caption. Any institution shall use the correct name and approve of the commission and advertising no blanket advertisement permitted. 5. An institution does not offer the payment of the cash for non-monetary incentives such as but not limited to travel or gift certificates as an inducement for the visit of the cabinet inducement for the visit of the campus to enroll in the course of the program. 6. All advertising shall be clear with the training of the education, not employment of being offered. All printing and advertising in clearly section with such newspaper, telephone directories. All printing and advertising in its classified sections such as newspapers, telephone directory, periodicals must appear under a headline that identifies the category as educational training and non-employing opportunities. 7. No institution is advertising through activities. Owners, officers, representatives shall guarantee to imply with the guaranteed employment of the certain wage salaries there either before enrollment, during the program, after the completion thereof. The guarantee acceptance into any union or organization achieving of the recognition, certification, qualification for licensure examination is not required. The term life placement shall not be used. 8. Any placement claim with employment prediction with a salary projection with the institution recording efforts shall be accurate and based upon reliable structural statistical data, but this should be provided with all prospective students for the commission upon the request. The responsible institution ensure that all the claims are kept to date with the reflect actual current conditions or job marketing projections taking into account with the anticipated need for the local community. Advertising shall contain the citation for the source of such claim. The institution shall maintain backup of the documentation supporting the citations. 9. Level education programs shall be clearly defined within the use of the advertising. No institution shall refer to itself as a college, university, unless authorized by the commission to do so by the commission. 10. No institution shall use the term accredited unless they are fully authorized to use by the accreditation agency recognized by the U.S. Department of Education. 11. For reference, financial institution availability shall include the phrase for those who will qualify. A similar disclaimer of the scholarship to the officers must fully be disclosed, clearly examined, explained if used in advertising. 12. Overstatements and exclusives shall not be used in advertising, and the word free shall not only be used when there is unconditional access to the item and service of all or services for all students without cost or obligation of any type, or if the refunds, loan, or repayment do not include consideration for the item served. 13. A new modified program shall not be advertised until the Commission approves the program. 14. An advertisement that may be factual reflect the present conditions that must be compensated. The institution must maintain documentation prior to the consistent with the participation if the employment institution or person otherwise affiliated with the institution other than the student and graduate makes an endorsement relationship affiliation shall be fully disclosed in advertising. 15. Institutions shall comply with advertising regulations pertaining to the training of the individual who is sponsored by a state federal agency. 16. A licensed institution shall only have the following phrase to identify the licensure status of the advertising licensed by the Florida Commission for the Independent Education License Number. The use of any other phrases of the form is considered the violation of this rule. Standard 12. Disclosure. Each institution, regardless of the level of the credential offered, should comply with the applicable provision of Rule 6E 10032 with any additional disclosure required with the Commission and other governmental agencies. Accredited agencies shall be made in using the form of the text required by the agency. Rulemaking Authority 1005-22-1E, 1005-31-2 and 3, 1005-34, 1005-39. Florida state laws implemented 1005-04, 1005-31, 1005-33, 1, 1005-34, 1005-39. Florida state statute. History news to December 5th, 1974. Formally 63.011, amended November 11th, 1975, March 7th, 1977, May 7th, 1979, October 13th, 1983, formally 6E204, amended November 27th, 1988, November 29th, 1989, December 10th, 1990, October 1993, April 2nd, 1996, April 11th, 2000, January 7th, 2003, April 5th, 2004, May 24th, 2004, July 20th, 2004, May 18th, 2005, July 10th, 2006, July 23rd, 2007, January 11th, 2012, July 11th, 2013, October 22nd, 2013. Alright, 6E20041, delivery of programs through non-traditional assessment modes and methods.